Most refrigerators don't just die, they're slowly destroyed by things you do every single day without realizing it. And the scary part? Almost all of it is completely preventable. In today's video, we're covering 17 proven habits that will keep your refrigerator running stronger, lasting longer, and saving you hundreds, maybe thousands, in repair bills and early replacement. Just a few minutes a month is all it takes. And stick around for number 1. It costs almost nothing, takes 10 minutes, and it's the single reason some refrigerators last twice as long as others. Most homeowners have never done it once. Let's get started. Number 17, check your temperature setting. Here's something most people never think to do. Check whether their refrigerator is set to the right temperature. Most fridges come from the factory set colder than they need to be, and that matters more than you'd think. When your fridge runs too cold, the compressor works harder than it should, cycling on and off more frequently and burning through more electricity every single day. Over a year, that adds up to real money on your energy bill, sometimes $20 to $30 or more. And the compressor? That's the most expensive part in your refrigerator. Overwork it, and you're shortening the lifespan of the whole unit. A compressor replacement can run anywhere from $400 to $700 depending on your model. And at that price, most people just buy a new fridge. The fix here is simple. Grab a refrigerator thermometer. They cost about $5 at any hardware store, and check both compartments. You want 37 degrees Fahrenheit for the fridge and 0 for the freezer. That's the sweet spot most manufacturers recommend. Adjust your dials, wait 24 hours, and check again. 2 minutes and $5 to protect a $1,000 appliance. Now, the next tip is something almost everyone does without thinking, and it's quietly causing problems right now inside your fridge. Number 16, stop pushing food against the back wall. Take a look inside your refrigerator right now, or next time you open it. If you've got food shoved against the back panel, you're creating a problem you can't see. That rear wall isn't just a wall. Behind it are internal air vents that circulate cold air throughout the compartment. When food blocks those vents, the air can't move. You end up with warm spots where food spoils faster and cold spots where things freeze that shouldn't. Your compressor senses the uneven temperature and kicks into overtime. A family in Michigan called a repair technician about food spoiling even though the fridge felt cold. The technician pulled out a tightly packed shelf of containers jammed against the back wall, rearranged them with a couple of inches of clearance, and the problem was solved. No parts, no repair bill, just better airflow. The fix takes 30 seconds. Pull everything an inch or two away from the back panel and make sure nothing covers the vents. Free, fast, and it protects your compressor and your food. A couple in Pennsylvania couldn't figure out why their energy bill kept climbing. Turns out their fridge door was leaking cold air around the clock. The 5-second test that caught it is coming up next. Number 15, test your door seals. Your refrigerator door has a rubber gasket running all the way around the edge, and its only job is to keep cold air in and warm air out. When that gasket gets worn, cracked, or dirty, your fridge leaks cold air 24 hours a day. You won't hear it or see it, but your compressor will feel it, running non-stop to replace the escaping air. That constant cycling can shave years off your fridge's life and add $15 to $20 a month to your energy bill. Here's the test. Close your fridge door on a dollar bill so half sticks out. Try to pull it. If it slides out easily, your seal isn't tight enough. Try this in several spots around both doors. If the bill slips, clean the gasket with warm, soapy water. That alone fixes it half the time. If the rubber is cracked, a replacement runs $20 to $40 and takes 15 minutes. A technician charges $150 or more for the same job. And by the way, even with perfect seals, there's another trick to keeping your fridge at a steady temperature that most people get wrong. We'll get to that shortly. Now, the next tip is one of the simplest on this list, but it makes a bigger difference than you'd expect. Number 14, keep your fridge about 3/4 full. An empty fridge actually works harder than a full one, and most people find that surprising. Here's why. Every time you open the door, cold air falls out onto the kitchen floor. It's heavier than warm air, so it literally pours out. In an empty fridge, almost all the cold air escapes in seconds. The compressor has to start from scratch, cooling all that new warm air. But in a reasonably stocked fridge, about 3/4 full, the cold mass of food acts like a thermal battery. The food holds its temperature, and the fridge recovers much faster when you close the door. The key word is reasonably stocked. You don't want it packed so tight that air can't circulate. That takes us right back to the airflow problem from tip 16. Think of it like insulation in your house. The food itself helps hold the cold in. If your fridge is often close to empty, fill a couple of water jugs and leave them inside. They'll stabilize the temperature for free. If you're finding this helpful so far, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of things hidden inside your fridge that cause problems, wait until you hear what's behind the back panel of your refrigerator and what happens when it clogs. Number 13. Clear the condensation drain hole. If you've ever noticed water pooling at the bottom of your fridge, or mysterious ice forming on the back wall, there's a good chance the culprit is a tiny drain hole you've probably never seen. It's usually hidden at the back of the fridge compartment, near the bottom. Its job is to channel condensation down into a drip pan underneath the unit. But over time, food particles, mold, and mineral deposits clog that little drain. When it blocks, water has nowhere to go. It pools inside your fridge, freezes against the back wall, and creates those mystery smells most people blame on old leftovers. If it gets bad enough, the ice buildup can affect airflow and force your compressor into overtime. And a technician visit to clear a frozen drain line can cost $150 to $200. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Find the drain hole. Your owner's manual will tell you exactly where it is, and clear it with a pipe cleaner or a turkey baster filled with warm water. Takes about 5 minutes, costs nothing, and prevents a headache that catches thousands of homeowners off guard every year. And speaking of hidden damage, a family in Minnesota made this next mistake after a single dinner party, and it nearly spoiled everything else in their fridge. Number 12. Don't put hot leftovers straight in. After cooking dinner, most people want to get the leftovers into the fridge as fast as possible. That makes sense from a food safety standpoint. But putting a hot container of soup or a warm casserole dish directly into your refrigerator does two things you don't want. First, it forces the compressor into overdrive. The internal temperature spikes, and the system has to work much harder to bring it back down. That kind of sudden thermal load stresses components that weren't designed for it. Second, and this is the part that matters for food safety, the heat radiating off that container raises the temperature of everything around it. The food sitting next to it enters what the USDA calls the danger zone, between 40 and 140 degrees, where bacteria multiply rapidly. The solution is easy. Let hot food cool on the counter for about 30 minutes. Or until it's roughly room temperature before putting it in the fridge. If you're in a hurry, spread food into shallow containers so it cools faster. Your compressor will thank you, and so will the leftovers sitting next to it. But even if you're doing everything right so far, there's one early warning sign most homeowners completely ignore, and it could save you hundreds. Number 11. Listen for new or unusual sounds. Your refrigerator talks to you. Not literally, but the sounds it makes are some of the best diagnostic tools you have. A healthy fridge has a steady, low hum you've probably tuned out years ago. But when something changes, a new buzz, a clicking that wasn't there before, a rattle that comes and goes, that's your refrigerator telling you something is failing. A retired couple in Oregon kept hearing a faint clicking and ignored it for 3 months. By the time they called a technician, the compressor relay had burned out and damaged the compressor itself. The bill was over $500. The relay alone, about $20, and a 15-minute swap if they'd caught it early. Here's the habit. Once a month, stand near your fridge for 30 seconds and listen. If something sounds different, louder, grinding, or clicking, don't ignore it. Catching a $20 part before it takes out a $400 component is one of the smartest things a homeowner can do. Still with me? Good. Because the tips from here on out are the ones that really start adding up in savings. A homeowner in Denver put off this next tip for over a year, and by the time he noticed the problem, it wasn't just his ice maker that was affected. Number 10, replace your water filter on schedule. If your refrigerator has a water dispenser or an ice maker, it almost certainly has a water filter inside it. And if you can't remember the last time you changed it, you're not alone. Most people forget this one. Be honest, do you even know where yours is right now? But a clogged water filter doesn't just slow down your water flow. It puts extra strain on the water system, can damage the ice maker over time, and worst of all, it lets through the very contaminants it was designed to catch. At that point, you're drinking water that passed through a dirty filter, which can actually be worse than no filter at all. Replacement filters cost between $20 and $50 depending on your model, and most slide in and out in under a minute. The general recommendation is every 6 months, but check your manual. A new ice maker alone can run $200 to $350 if the old filter's restricted flow damages it. Set a reminder on your phone or write the date on the filter when you install it. The next tip involves something hiding underneath your refrigerator right now, and most homeowners have no idea it even exists. Number 9, pull out and clean the drip pan. Underneath your refrigerator, there's a shallow pan that most people have never seen. It's called the drip pan, and it catches the condensation that drains from inside your fridge. The same water we talked about in tip 13 with the drain hole. Over months and years, that pan collects a mix of water, food residue, and dust that turns into mold and bacteria. And because it's out of sight, it's out of mind. That's where mystery smells come from. The ones you can't track down no matter how many times you clean out the fridge. In most models, the drip pan slides right out from the front or bottom of the unit. Pull it out, wash it with warm, soapy water, dry it, and slide it back. That's it, 5 minutes, once every couple months. A homeowner in Georgia paid a technician $125 just to identify that the strange odor in their kitchen was coming from a drip pan they didn't know existed. And if you think that was easy, the next tip takes 2 minutes and solves a problem that silently forces your compressor to work overtime every single day. Number 8, make sure your fridge is level. Here's something that gets overlooked during every move and most kitchen renovations. Whether your fridge is actually sitting level, when a refrigerator isn't level, the doors don't hang evenly. That means they don't seal properly, and cold air leaks out constantly. Your compressor runs longer to compensate. Your energy bill creeps up, and the uneven stress on the hinges can cause premature wear. A couple in Virginia had their fridge replaced under warranty twice before a technician finally noticed the floor had a slight slope. 2 minutes with a wrench on the adjustable feet at the bottom of the fridge fixed it permanently. Most refrigerators have leveling legs you can turn by hand or with a basic wrench. Place a small level on top of the fridge, front to back, and side to side, and adjust until it's even. Some models also need a slight backward tilt so the doors close on their own. Check your manual. It takes 2 minutes and costs nothing. If you've made it this far, you already know more about your refrigerator than most repair technicians would ever tell you. Now, this next tip sounds obvious, but the science behind it might change the way you use your fridge every day. Number 7, organize to cut door open time. Every second your refrigerator door stays open, cold air pours out, and your compressor has to replace every bit of it. Most people stand in front of an open fridge for 10, 20, even 30 seconds looking for something, sometimes longer. And here's the part nobody thinks about. Over the course of a week, that adds up to significant cold air loss and a compressor that's working harder than it needs to. The fix isn't complicated. Group items by zone, dairy together, condiments together, drinks in one area, leftovers in another. Keep the things you grab every day, milk, butter, eggs, at the front and at eye level. It's the same idea as organizing a workshop. When everything has a place, you grab it and go. Homeowners who adopt this habit cut their average door open time roughly in half, and their fridge maintains a steadier temperature with fewer compressor cycles. No cost, no tools, just a 5-minute reorganization that pays off every single day. But even a perfectly organized fridge can overheat if the air around it can't breathe. And that's exactly what the next tip is about. Number 6, leave breathing room around the fridge. Most kitchens are designed to make the fridge look built in, flush against the wall, tight between cabinets. It looks clean, but it's quietly choking your refrigerator. Your fridge generates heat as it runs. That's what the condenser does. It pulls heat out of the interior and releases it into the surrounding air. If there's no space around the unit, that heat has nowhere to go. It builds up, the condenser works harder, the compressor runs longer, and your energy bill goes up. Over time, that constant strain can cut years off the life of the unit. The recommendation from most manufacturers is at least 2 inches of clearance on both sides and the top, and 1 inch in the back. If your fridge is shoved into a tight alcove, pull it out just a little. That small gap can make a measurable difference in how efficiently it runs and how long it lasts. It's free, it takes 60 seconds, and it gives your fridge the airflow it was designed to have. And if giving your fridge some breathing room was easy, the next tip is even simpler. 2 minutes, no tools, and it prevents the single most expensive repair your fridge will ever need. Number 5, vacuum under the kick plate. At the very bottom of your refrigerator, there's a narrow panel called the kick plate or toe grill. Behind it, there's a space most people have never looked at, and it's probably packed with a thick mat of dust, pit hair, and kitchen debris. That buildup chokes the airflow to critical components underneath your fridge, including the compressor and condenser fan. When those parts can't breathe, they overheat. And overheating is the #1 way to shorten the life of a refrigerator. The kick plate usually snaps off with a gentle pull. Once it's off, take a vacuum hose and clean out everything underneath. It takes 2 minutes, costs nothing, and prevents the kind of silent overheating that leads to an $800 to $1,200 compressor replacement. A homeowner in Texas noticed his fridge was warm inside and called a repair technician. The diagnosis? A solid inch of compacted dust under the kick plate, and the compressor was running at nearly double its normal temperature. A 2-minute cleaning would have prevented the entire call. We're getting close to the top of the list now, and honestly, the most important tips are still ahead. But first, this next one is a warning sign that most people hear every day and completely ignore. Number 4, don't ignore a constantly running compressor. A healthy refrigerator cycles on and off throughout the day. You hear it hum for a while, then it goes quiet, then it starts again. That's normal. What's not normal is a compressor that never stops running. If your fridge hums constantly without ever cycling off, something is wrong. It could be dirty condenser coils, a failing door seal, an airflow blockage, low refrigerant, or a thermostat issue. Whatever the cause, a compressor running non-stop is a compressor being pushed toward failure. And here's the cost reality. A compressor replacement on most modern fridges runs between $600 and $1,000 with labor. At that price, most technicians will tell you to just buy a new fridge. The habit is simple. Every now and then, pay attention to whether your fridge goes quiet. If it never does, start checking the basics we've already covered: seals, coils, airflow, temperature settings. Catching the cause early can be the difference between a $15 fix and a $1,000 replacement. The next tip is one of the most neglected parts of any refrigerator, and it takes less than 2 minutes to fix. Number 3, brush off the condenser fan blade. Right next to your condenser coils, there's a small fan whose entire job is to pull air through those coils so heat can dissipate. When that fan's blades get caked with dust and grime, and they will, it can't move enough air to do its job. The condenser overheats, the compressor works harder, and the whole system runs less efficiently. Even if you've cleaned your coils, a dirty fan blade undermines the effort. The fan is usually easy to access once you remove the back panel or kick plate. Take a stiff brush or an old toothbrush and wipe down the blades. Check that the fan spins freely. That's it. 2 minutes, no tools you don't already own. A technician would charge $100 to $150 to do the same thing during a service call, and most of that is just the trip charge. Do it yourself once every couple months, and you'll keep the entire cooling system running the way it was designed to. And now, the second most important tip on the entire list. This one alone can prevent a repair that runs $300 to $400. Number 2, defrost your freezer before ice builds up. Even if you have a frost-free freezer, ice can still accumulate over time, especially around the evaporator fan behind the back panel of the freezer compartment. When ice builds up around that fan, it restricts airflow. The freezer can't circulate cold air properly, the fridge side warms up, and the compressor runs non-stop trying to compensate. If you've noticed your freezer is cold but your fridge is warm, this is almost always the cause. Left unchecked, the evaporator fan motor can burn out, and that repair runs $300 to $400 depending on the model. Once a month, open your freezer and look at the back wall. If you see frost building up or hear the fan struggling, it's time to defrost. Unplug the fridge, leave the doors open, and let it thaw, or use a hairdryer on low heat to speed it up. A couple hours of minor inconvenience can save you from a major repair bill. It's the kind of simple check that separates homeowners who replace their fridge every 8 years from those who keep theirs running for 20. And that brings us to number 1. If you skip every other tip in this video, don't skip this one, because ignoring it is the single fastest way to kill your refrigerator. Number 1. Clean your condenser coils. This is the tip that should be posted on the front of every refrigerator sold in America. Your condenser coils, those are the metal tubes on the back or underneath your fridge, release heat from inside the unit. When they're clean, the system works efficiently and quietly. When they're coated in dust, pet hair, and kitchen grease, your compressor has to work dramatically harder to cool the fridge. That constant overwork is the single biggest cause of premature compressor failure, and replacing a compressor costs more than buying a new refrigerator. Appliance repair professionals report that dirty condenser coils are involved in nearly half of all refrigerator breakdowns they see, and the vast majority of homeowners have never cleaned them once. Here's what you do. Unplug your fridge, find the coils, pull the fridge from the wall, or remove the kick plate. Use a condenser coil brush, about $8 at any hardware store, and brush off the dust. Follow up with a vacuum attachment. Plug it back in. 10 minutes, once a month. An $8 brush to protect the appliance that runs 24 hours a day, every day of the year. This is the this in the title. If you do nothing else from this video, do this. That's 17 simple habits that will keep your refrigerator running for years to come. Now, there's a video on your screen right now that covers the biggest refrigerator mistakes that cost homeowners thousands every year. Click it now. I'll see you there.